Hey there creative people, my name is Bloomzeye. I'm an indie game developer and designer of cute and colorful games, and here's how I made Cupid's Tiny Builder, my game entry for the first GDevelop game jam. In Cupid's Tiny Builder, you play as Caillou the Spirit Bird, one of Cupid's helpers and builders. Travel through Cupid's workshop to rebuild the Broken Heart Maker machine. Play through 3 levels, grab Cupid's wrench, turn negative hearts back into care hearts, and collect all 3 of the machine builds to fix the machine and save the day. I didn't win, but I made a really cool game. I love it. So I'm going to show you how I did it. GDevelop is an open source, free, visual scripting and heavy on the visual scripting game engine that I found earlier in 2021. In February of 2022, GDevelop announced their first game jam with the theme of build and rebuild. The only reason why I joined this jam is because they had a week-long jam timeline. Usually you see a lot of jams that are like 1 day, hourly, 3 days, and that's fine. Actually, it's not. I don't like those. I don't really join those because they're so stressful to like do all of that in that short time frame. It's cool what you can create, but like I don't want to be stressed out like that. So when the GDev team announced their week-long jam, I jumped on it because that for me was possible and healthy for me to do. I immediately went to my game design document, and I always start a new game design document, a Word document of just my basic ideas, plots, just throwing everything in that document, and I added the theme into it and then started redoing my notes based on that theme. So I kept them going for like title ideas and story prompt ideas, the engine to develop, obviously, the summary, the tools, the mechanics. It's just my document, although it's for myself, I still want a initial guideline of where I'm going and where I end up at the end of the jam. For this jam, I was working in Trello to keep everything organized. It was pretty simple as I've gotten used to making games and developing them, so my process has been a lot more streamlined. My main Trello board was my time blocks. Because each day counts, every day I wanted to have some sort of progress I can check off. So the art, concept design, stories, then up to the programming, animation, so on. And now that I felt like I was really organized with my game design document and my Trello board, and with the clock ticking, it was now time for me to finally open up Sprite and start designing my main character, Caillou. Caillou's design is literally a round blob with an eye, a beak, some legs, a feather, and a wing. And the reason why I kept it so simple is because, again, game jams require swiftness and to execute things quickly. I wanted to be able to animate this character the way I wanted to without running out of time, so Caillou is just a circle with some details, basically. I gave Caillou a little heart-shaped feather wing. This is as I'm developing like, oh, Cupid's workshop, god of like love and whatever. So that's why Cupid has a heart-shaped feather. And then the colors, I try not to do colors at first because I love colors, but I'm not the best when it comes to color palettes and like making color look nice together with all the elements that needs to be. So I really wanted to just keep it black and white for a little bit, just the outline, and slow myself down before I overwhelm myself because I want to get to the end of this game jam. So I made sure I took the proper steps that I could take to get myself to the finish line. I'm not sure why, but I struggled so hard with this bird's legs. At first I was doing like semi-realistic legs, like the little clawed feet, that I'm like, okay, that doesn't work too hot. I kept on redoing it. Maybe like the body needs to be thicker or bigger, or I don't know. These legs gave me a run for my money. Now that I kind of had Caillou's design down, I wanted to start the color process. And like I said, colors, it's just I throw it at a wall and see how it looks. I want it to be more streamlined, so not as many colors as I usually do. Kept it to like, let's say 3 colors, an outline, highlights, and shadows. So maybe like 5 colors total for Caillou. I'm not really counting, I'm eyeballing this. And then I just kept on going with the details if I wanted to add any. But then I realized, again, scope, small, I don't know, grow tall, whatever. So Caillou is fairly simple, flat colors. I was gonna do some shading on the character, just give it some more life, but then decided against that because of just the animation process and timeline. So Caillou didn't have as much shading as I was planning, and I just kind of went back to just redoing the legs. I'm sorry, the legs I just could not live with myself with these legs looking like they did. Eventually, the legs looked like something I can bear to look at, so I just kept them going with, I tend to redesign or concept develop my character in the same artboard. So we have the first design, second design, then I edit both of those to look a certain way. And I just keep on going until I can look at the character without being like, this is not good. And even if I do have that feeling, I kind of have to come to terms with, like, when there are deadlines, I also need to be confident in my own abilities to character design as I'm growing in them, to be like, this character isn't perfect, of course, because of my current skill level, but it is good enough for this certain work right at this point. So I created Caillou, kept on doing some minor edits, and then finally landed on the design Caillou was gonna be. But you know, those legs I will not forget these legs. Did I spend too much time on Caillou's legs? Yes. Was it leg day for like 2 days? No, not really. But still, I spent a lot of time on the legs. And I got to 4 designs with their little variations until I finally landed on Caillou's official design. I always go back and forth with either outlining my pixel art or not outlining. Currently, I do like the outline style, but I might switch it around because of as I get better with my coloring and level designing. But Caillou was outlined and I like it. I do. And that concludes the first part of this video series of how I made my indie game, Cupid's Tiny Builder, for the GDevelop Game Jam. I'm Bloomzeye, a pixel artist a game developer of cute and colorful things. I'm still getting used to this YouTube stuff, but here's my Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram as Bloomzeye, my website also as Bloomzeye.com, and surprise, my HIO also Bloomzeye.com, Bloomzeye. So you can find me on these links in the description below also. Feel free to subscribe and hit the notification button because I will be uploading as I edit these videos. Not my strength, but I do want to start like sharing about my game development process as someone who has never done games before to now to get 4 games and growing my little game portfolio. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bloomzeye, and I'll catch you creative homies later.